Well, welcome viewers. This is part 4 in our Covert Emotional Incest Fundamentals talks. Starting to get very interesting now. We just went through the bloodline bondage, the bloodline entrapment, the bloodline loyalty bind that the covert emotional incest people have. And that's not just relative to covert emotional incest, but it is in this subject, so let's just focus on that. They will come out emotionally from the bond, but it will only be to find the intimacy that they're not getting from the parent-child bond, usually sexual. The other parts of their life, the social parts, they'll find through normal facilities, but they've got to be careful how they navigate their sexuality, because experience will teach them that if somebody gets too close, they're going to see the covert emotional incest at work. Now, I did a little bit of research on the next plague, which is amphibian frogs. The Lord sent frogs. Sending the water and the blood didn't do anything. Pharaoh didn't allow the people to leave. He said that he possibly would. It didn't happen. This is how these relationships hold you. There's always the element of hope. As the Bible says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. So now what's happening is you're starting to lower your standards. You're realizing something's not quite right, and you're willing to work in with this person. But what you've got to realize is it's a delusion. Okay, there's a self-prophecy already taken place inside these people because of their lifestyle that nothing's going to work. Nothing's going to eventuate. Okay, it's a self-prophecy. It's actually why they end up where they are, because they're used to failing, they're used to being left behind, they're used to people letting them down, but this makes them a letdown because they don't want to present themselves the way that they should. And of course this then ripples not only into trouble between each other, but trouble in their extra family relationships. We look at the amphibian plague next, where the Lord sent the amphibian plague. As we look at Moses and Aaron spoke to Pharaoh, saying that, God of the heavens has met us, they declared, so let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness so we can offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. If we don't, he will kill us with a plague or with the sword. Pharaoh replied, why are you distracting the people from their tasks? Get back to work. Look, there are many of your people in the land, and you are stopping them from their work. Now, we see here that Moses and Aaron have approached Pharaoh, Pharaoh being the source of the covert emotional incest, let's say, and he's taken no notice of what they've said. This is a challenge. This is a challenge that you'll be faced with. I hear what you're saying, but I don't believe what you're saying. And what will happen is you'll start making bricks without straw. Okay, this is the first stage. You're making bricks without straw. Making bricks without straw is like banging your head against a brick wall, as it were. It's just not going to happen. I'm just trying to find my way to, and this is interesting too, Aaron's staff becomes a serpent, for whatever way you want to take it. The serpent sign is the sign of the devil. And what happens, there's a bit of a challenge goes on here, and this is very interesting, because unresolved starts to make things manifest. The Lord said to Moses, pay close attention to this. I will make you seem like God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron will be your prophet. Tell Aaron everything I command you, and Aaron must command Pharaoh to let the people of Israel leave this country. But I will make Pharaoh's heart stubborn, says the Lord, and I can multiply my miraculous signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. See, this is where we've all got to be careful, because there is a spiritual realm, and unresolved has a way of making things change direction, not so much for the better. Even then, Pharaoh will refuse to listen to you. This is what we've got to understand. People will make out that they're listening, but underneath, they can't hear what we're saying. So I will bring down my fist on Egypt. I will rescue my forces. Then I will rescue my forces, my people, the Israelites, from the land of Egypt with great acts of judgment. Anyway, so Moses and Aaron just did as the Lord said. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Pharaoh will demand, show me a miracle. When he does this, say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it down in front of Pharaoh, and it will become a serpent. So, and this is interesting because you'll be confronted by the parent if you're with the child, if you're the girlfriend or boyfriend of the daughter or the son, or you'll be confronted by the father or the mother. And if you throw down your rod and they know that you are onto what's going on, this is what's going to happen. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did what the Lord had commanded them. Aaron threw down the staff before Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a serpent. In other words, I see what's going on here. You're not acting in the light, you're in the darkness. Then Pharaoh called in his own wise men and sorcerers, and these Egyptian magicians did the same thing with their magic. They threw down their staffs, which also became serpents. But then Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Pharaoh's heart, however, remained hard. He still refused to listen, just as the Lord had predicted. And I've had these young males that haven't even started their lives covertly challenge my masculinity to the point where the mother's been unable to speak. She's just unable to speak because the loyalty bind is with the son. And instead of chastising the son, because there is an underlying victim mentality happening here, and this is what bonds them together as well. We are victims, I need you and you need me. This person's a stranger, I'm not leaving you, please don't leave me. The underlying loyalty bind will do anything it can to not look weak in front of the outside person. And it will do anything it has to, be evil, good, whatever, to not allow anything to shake or undermine the covert emotional incest. And I can remember a couple of these sons bunging on that they're the alpha of the house and expecting me to react as if it was some kind of something that had meaning. And I didn't react. I just retracted. I learnt that you don't entertain delusion. And it literally sent these people round the bend because I didn't acknowledge the delusion. So what you'll see is then the evil starts to turn on them. The evil turns in on itself. Your goodness will eat up the delusion, and this really troubles the minds of these people because they don't know what to do. They're used to people reacting. They're used to people responding. But there's another element of this. If you're being attacked passive-aggressively, usually out of silence or secondary messages, things being sent by, or you're picking up signs that something's just not right here, I'm under attack. If you fight passive-aggressive with passive-aggressive, guess what? The person that uses it for the weapon as weaponry will really be troubled by that, because they're used to people reacting. They're used to it. And it's so sad. It's so sad that things can't be negotiated. And their passive aggressiveness will swallow them up. It just swallows them up. They just end up on their own. So we did the plague of blood, and we're going to the plague of amphibians, the frogs. And the frogs, if you refuse to let them go, I will send a plague of frogs across your entire land. And I looked this up. I thought, well, you know, frogs, they spread warts and they stink and they're hard to kill. And apparently they're very similar. There's a lot they've learnt from frogs and things, but I found this. Amphibian, any member of a group of vertebrate animals characterized by their ability to exploit both aquatic and terrestrial habits. Now, to me, that's talking about emotional and physical abilities. The name amphibian derived from the Greek amphibios, meaning living a double life, and that just blew me away. Because two of the ladies I was with, I had to say to them, you know, you're living a double life. You're living with one foot on both sides of the fence. You're not letting go. And what I meant by that was, you don't need to leave your children, but you've got to break this bond. And it reflects this dual life strategy. These people are strategists. They know what they're doing. It's a part of their makeup. And these frogs are turning the double life back on them. If you know what, I'll tell you what happened. Okay, I thought, right, I can see what's going on here, and I'm not getting anywhere. Let's live the double life. I let the double life turn in on itself, just like I let the bloodline turn in on itself. I saw and watched these people living the double life, and it was destroying them, and it was destroying their children. And there was nothing I could do about it. I could do nothing to stop or help these people. And again, they listened to the "can we please fix whatever," or "look at what's happening now," or "what's happening now." It was always triangulated. And oh my goodness, I did feel sorry for these ladies in a way, but the evil that was coming from the adult children was just relentless. And all she had to do was confront it, but she was unable to. She didn't know how to. She possibly didn't want to. Maybe it was her all along that was causing this. But it says this: if you refuse to let them go, if you refuse to resolve this issue, I will send a plague across your entire land. Then the Nile River will swarm with frogs. That's the mind. They will come up out of the river and into your palace. It's going to start to ruin what's valuable to you. Even into your bedroom and into your bed. That's important, isn't it? Because these people go outside the loyalty bind and become disloyal with strangers. And and it's bedroom related. If these people are living together, one or the other will cause an issue so that the third person can't come in. I've had a couple of women that have had to come here. They only visit here. I couldn't go to their place because the evil in the child would manifest. The covert emotional incest would manifest. And it was just too much for the mother to bear. They will enter the houses of your officials and your people, right? It affects everyone. And they will even jump into your ovens and into your kneading bowls. Frogs will jump on you, your people, and all your officials. And you know what? They didn't listen. They didn't listen. And it did. It went through everything. It got worse and worse. It just got worse and worse and worse. It gets everywhere. Covert emotional incest wears out everyone and everything. And again, it's not the normal, natural, loving, maternal bond. It's the result of relationships that have failed. These people can still be married and using the children as a shield. It's complex, guys. And when you come in as a third person, really, you don't want to go near this bond. You don't want to affect mother-child relationships, but they'll affect you. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and begged, plead with the Lord to take the frogs away from me and my people, and I will let your people go. Again, there's been an element of resolve, but it's superficial. These people will waste your time. Plead with the Lord to take them away. I will let your people go so they can offer sacrifices to the Lord. You set the time, Moses replied. Tell me when you want me to pray for you, your officials, and your people. This affects everyone. Then you and your houses will be rid of the amphibians, and they will remain only in the Nile River. Now, the Nile River was a source of nourishment and sustenance for these people. And again, the covert emotional incest is the source. But all these things are in it. There's all these consequences that come with it. Do it tomorrow, Pharaoh said. Okay, so there's an element of panic for these people when they are going to lose their partner. They'll never lose each other, but when they are going to lose their partner, and they'll do what they have to try and save it, if they can. But they're definitely living a double life. There's no two ways about it. There's a double life going on. And this is what I wanted to say. I've said to two of the girls, you know, you're living with 2 feet on, or 1 foot on both sides of the fences, and that's okay. You can't hurt me, but you're hurting yourselves, and you're losing me. I just want to have a normal relationship, but covert emotional incest won't let you. You've got the bloodline blocking you, and you've got the double life blocking you. They will live a double life. If you're a male, they'll come to you for sex and emotional input, and then use that sex and emotional input to wife the children. They'll wife the children. They won't be the mother. They'll be the wife, and they'll use your energy and strength to enable them to do that. It's really asexual. It's really devastating and damaging. We'll continue in the next talk. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.